Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to do this little field test. We have the SCAXE 10. This is basically a hatchet made by Charade. I've had it for several years now, and I figured since I actually kind of like this product here, I'd do a field test for y'all. So we'll take the camera down here and we'll get some basic measurements from this, and then after that we'll get to doing some tests. First of all, it comes with a plastic, well, technically a sheath, I guess. It's got a place there to run that through a belt. Like I said, I'm not super crazy about that, how this thing is kind of accordion styled right here and it folds. I got a theory that a lot of that and cold weather, hot weather, and all that stuff may be a detriment to this sheath for it. But for now, it keeps the blade from damaging stuff. So, and you can belt carry it. All right, let's get the old tape measure out real quick. All right, we got about 10 3/4 inch in length. Let's get the width of the head. And 4 3/4. And the bit length is just about 3 3/4 inch. Okay. It's a pretty basic design, but it's a good design. It's got a nice broad bit on it, and it came pretty decently sharp. It's got a functional hammer pull in the back. It's a little bit weight forward, but that's kind of not bad. It's not like overly weight forward. It's just a good combination. And like I said, it's got a good comfortable grip. This is solid steel. It runs clear down through here. It's just got a overmolded rubberized textured grip, and it's quite comfortable. The swell here at the back end really helps that lock securely into your hand. Of course, if you need to, you can run a lanyard on that. But we'll go ahead and reset camera here, guys, and we're going to take this to the pine tree there, and we're going to get to chopping. All right, now we had to switch over here because we were getting to the point where we're a little bit brown. Just it's a little over halfway through on this side here, so we had to switch our area. So let's go ahead and get this thing put to work. Got a really good bite. It's biting in just perfect. All right, let's move the camera in, guys, that we can get a close-up view of the action there. I gotta say, for its size, that's not too bad at all. Still pretty sharp too. Let's see if she'll shave some hair. Not sure if the camera's picking that up, but yeah, I'd shave the hair right off, no problem. That's pretty good, especially for the size and weight. It's not in the best of health, so we are going to take this one down. But I also have another use for this here for another video, so that will actually not be a waste at all. There we go, no problemo. That'd be a hardwood too. Alright guys, we're gonna process this down just a little bit. It's a little unwieldy, and I'm fighting the back end back here too. There we go, that's not too bad. Get a solid hit on it, takes it right off. So that ain't too hateful. Alright. Like I said, I got another use for this a little bit later on, so for now, we're going to leave that laying right there where it's at. Okay guys, we're going to make us a little steak. And this is a pretty typical use for a hatchet, I found. Just going to put a point on it. That should do. We don't need anything too extreme. All right. We got an X into it, so now we just carve that X out. That way we have a stopper for any kind of cordage we want to put on there. Yellow Jacket's trying to photobomb the video here. This is a hardwood too, so this isn't quite as easy as you'd have it with pine or something. Let's make that a little deeper. let's drive her into the ground, guys. And there we go. Real quick, use this to shave off the bark. This is a really tight bark. It does not want to come off. So it would be a pretty good test of it. But it is, in fact, doing it. Alright, real quick. This is just putting a little more wear on that edge. We'll see how well she shaves hair after all the testing, plus running it into this oak. Alright, I think that's good. Let's get you guys a little bit closer. Find us a spot here. So yeah, no problem. It holds an edge quite well. And that's it's nice to know, especially, you know, if you're getting this and you maybe wanting to use this for an emergency, kind of like put it in your bug out bag or whatever have you. Well, guys, there you have it. Like I said, you know, there's pretty simple, pretty basic, but very, very effective. It's another one of them deals where you can get an item that doesn't cost astronomically high prices and still get some good quality. I got this, I think, at Rural King. Like I said, it's one of them deals where they don't always have the same items in all the time. So this was like maybe a one-off. They only had it up there for a season, because any other time I went back there to look to see if they had any more of these in my location, they didn't have them. I know you can order them online, but this, if I ain't mistaken, was between $40 and $45 for this. And it's comparable to, and as is the price point, like the small S-Wing camp hatchet, but it's a little bit bigger than this and a little bit heavier. Like I said, this one here is really suited well for a smaller, lighter weight hatchet, but still has the nice hammer pull on it, decent weight forward. It's fairly thin for chopping, but it's not super thin. But actually, and I almost forgot to do this, so I'll pause this real quick and I'll get a piece of wood here so we can split it. Almost forgot to do that. All right, guys, sorry about that. Can't believe I almost forgot to do that. But you know, you get running around with a whole bunch of different thoughts in your head sometimes. But yeah, now this, like I said, keep in mind, like, realistic here. If you're splitting wood with this, if it's larger, of course you can kind of come in, whittle off the edges if you have no other choice. But try to size, if possible, more appropriate size wood for the tools you're using. Like a 3-inch diameter, perfect for this hatchet. You might get away with, you know, like a 4 or 5 inch. But you know, keep in mind, this isn't a full size axe or splitting maul. It's going to have limitations just because of its size and weight. But for what it is, if you're, you know, like I said, when before, I remember I didn't do this and I cut to get this little piece of wood. This is something that's lightweight, small, you can actually carry on your person, and you can still do a good bit of work with. So let's get this guy split. If I could hit it. It's harder doing this sitting down than you think. But yeah, just that quick. We got plenty of little pieces here. Then of course you can obviously take a small piece that you've already cut off to use for safety's sake. Hold that. You know, you can continue to process this down into far smaller pieces. And that's ideally what you'll want to do to help get your fires going, especially if your conditions are not the best in the world. Or do a little bit of feather sticking while I was at it. Virtually forgot to do that as well. All right, guys. We'll reset the camera here and get my final thoughts real quick. So, my final thoughts. It's well worth the price. Like I said, I'm not super crazy about the mask, but I didn't think to do it till now, but I ought to try it. I do have the S-Wing camper's hatchet, and their head sizes are pretty similar. And if that fits in this, I probably, if I'm going to actually seriously take this out, I'll probably put it in that. Just the fact it's a far superior hatchet mask. Plus it has the belt loop, so you can actually carry it on your person. And those you can buy separately, like on Amazon. So that might be a thing. But I'll try that out, and I'll do, maybe nothing else, I'll do a short on it. That way I'll let everybody know that it'll work, you know, before someone buys that and tries to put it on here and it won't fit, if you're wanting to do that. But yeah, I think it's well worth the asking price. Like I said, I don't know what it is now. Like I said, most of the stuff, there's very few things that I've got that are brand new. Like I said, I've had this now for like 5-6 years. 5 maybe, actually. But the value that you get for your money is pretty good. I can say that I don't regret buying this by any measure. And another thing I forgot to mention, the handles, while in use, quite comfortable. The tiniest little bit of shock from a good hard hit in red oak. Now, say if you're cutting poplar, pine, and a medium hardwood like maple or something like that, you'll probably have far less shock even then. I say you barely even registered it if you're cutting into like a pine or a poplar. And those are typically, if I'm out and it's an emergency situation and stuff, for most temporary like shelters, especially getting a fire started, I'll actually go for pines and poplars. And then if, you know, it's a real cold kind of situation, after the fire is established, then I'll worry about, you know, the hardwoods and stuff for a longer lasting, hotter fire. But if you have access to enough of it, you can actually do with the pine poplar for everything: shelter building, fire, the existing fire prolonged throughout the night. Obviously you'll have to gather much more of it, but having the ability to process the wood is, one of the key things. So this hatchet and a small folding saw like the Silky Pocket Boy, or maybe even the Silky Big Boy, something of that nature. You don't have to be a Silky, obviously, Corona razor tooth, something like that. Teaming it up with this is a pretty good combination, because you can use the saw to cut the wood, you can use a hatchet to process the wood, plus you have a makeshift hammer built into the back of it for pounding steaks, crushing nuts. And though there's not really a place on this outside the edge of the blade itself to strike a ferro rod on, that could be up to the owner. If you want to take a belt grinder to it, maybe up here on the top, grind that out to where you got a real good hard 90. That's up to you. I usually got so many different items on my person to strike a ferro rod. I'm not going to sweat the hatchet, but if you're going to be carrying far less items, you might have just a belt knife, saw, and this. Wouldn't be maybe a bad idea to go ahead and put that real hard 90 on here. That, nothing else, you could even use it for scraping wood with and get really fun, fuzzy stuff to help you with your fires. But anyway, I could definitely highly recommend this tool. I really enjoy it. Like I said, everything about it is very functional. The shape, the curve of the handle and everything. It fits in the hand good if you got big hands. It's relatively smallish on the handle thickness until you start coming back towards the end here, but I find there's enough of it coming down here. I'm still getting the hold. It fills my hand just good enough to where it's nice. It fills in the pocket right here of your palm. It's warming up, and the yellow jackets are starting to get a little more friendly. But like I said, it's up for you guys whether you want to buy something like that or not. But I brought it to you for your observation. You got to see it get put to work. So with that, I'm going to stop rambling, guys. I thank you very kindly for watching. All you guys who've been watching, I really appreciate it. We're getting pretty close to 1,000 subs. I'm hoping to break over to 1,000 before the end of the year. And thank you kindly, each and every one of you. I wouldn't be doing this without y'all watching. So that, I'll see y'all in their video.